What's the most striking landscape or natural feature you've ever seen on your travels? Sometimes it's the weather that makes all the difference. One of the most beautiful things I ever witnessed was a forest in New Mexico. Gemma's mountains covered in 8 inches of thick rime ice after 3 days of freezing fog. It was mind-blowing to walk through, and it didn't feel real. Any natural place can look insane with the right weather or natural light. Driving from Roswell north into Santa Fe, and then into Los Alamos. The town is on cliffs, and it's got several bridges with breathtaking overlooks. One segment of the town had a view all the way to Albuquerque. It was dusk, with pinkish light, a full moon, and already hundreds of stars visible. I wish I could afford to live up there. Of all my travels, the end Poly Coast of Kauai, Hawaii. Poly Coast via KTHX images images https duckduckgo. QNA Poly Coast via KTHX images images. Then the east side that all is beautiful of Glacier National Park in Montana, followed by Crater Lake, Oregon, NT. Shasta in Northern California. I know there's a lot of conspiracy type lore about it, but I drove past it in 2004, and I still remember how it just thoroughly dominates the area around it. It sits there alone and just demands your attention. It isn't just a mountain. It's a presence, if that makes any sense. New Zealand is full of them. The mountains of the South Island are immense. But what really struck me was the rolling hills in the north. I've never seen land look new, like it was still bubbling up from somewhere deep, and someone hit pause on it long enough for grass to grow. It was gentle and fascinating. Most places in New Zealand, the west coast of the upper north, Paihia and Russell, the desert road, and the river valleys past Tokoroa, and the Marlborough Sounds, Tahunanui Beach, Pinakaiki, Hokitika, the Catlins, and most of Dunedin's old architecture. There are so many sick spots. Torres del Paine National Park, specifically Glacier Grey coming down from John Garner Pass. Maybe this isn't as cool to someone who has seen a glacier before, but this was my first, and I was so blown away by what I was seeing. I'm gonna hit you with something most people don't expect. The mountains of northeast Afghanistan. If it wasn't for the circumstances, I could see it being a desirable vacation location. It has great locations for skiing, hiking, and whitewater rafting. I'll add Palm Springs, California in winter. I can be in the desert looking at a snowy mountain, and I can literally see the divide as I drove home from work one day. Beautiful, but scared the hell out of me, thinking I'll need snow chains. In my own country, I would say the cliffs of Mother or Lady's View near Killarney. Maybe the Italian mountain town I was in one time, north of Milan. Cannot remember the name though. Anyway, the drive up into the mountains was beautiful. And from my late uncle, there's a large rock at the edge of the property that has the most amazing view you can see for miles in every direction. I still see this from there that I had never seen before. Iceland has probably been one of the most beautiful natural landscapes I've ever seen. Specifically, I suppose Kirkjufell or Stocksons, if I got that correct. But really, the entire Route 1 of the entire country was stunning. Alu and Katajuta in central Australia. Garrawid in central Victoria, Australia. The Australian landscape is full of ancient seabeds heaved up and exposed over millennia. It's rugged, unforgiving, and utterly breathtaking. The Lost Face in Nepal. My dad took me to Everest Base Camp when I was 10 years old. We spent 30 days trekking around and climbing smaller peaks in the area. It's going to be hard to top even though I was so young. The region of Friuli in northeastern Italy. One scene captured a mountain range, a valley, and a palm tree in one setting. And the whole area is so clean, so peaceful, so beautiful. Yosemite National Park in California, the most beautiful place I've ever been. You can stand anywhere and just turn 360 degrees, and your mind gets blown all the way around. Gorgeous. The Sequoia National Park. Planning my first trip there, I was expecting to be mildly interested in the trees. I was astounded by their massiveness, truly a wonderful place. Northern Lights in Yukon. Yukon is generally breathtaking in a few ways. Under the Northern Lights, it's like another world entirely. Nothing can come close to it. I've been to a lot of places with all the terrains, but I think flying over the southern tip of Greenland takes the cake. There's just something magical about the place. Maybe it was because I was 8 at the time, but nothing has been as inspiring as Chimney Rock. Almost don't want to see it again, just in case it ruins it. I haven't travelled far, but I lived in Bangor, North Wales for 6 years, right between the Menai Straits and Snowdonia. Beautiful. God, I missed the mountains. Rural Iceland, from what I remember. It was just mossy lava fields that stretched on for miles. It doesn't look like you're on Earth anymore. Probably Baltoro Glacier Snow Lake in Pakistan. The aerial pic on Wikipedia is not too different to what you see from the mountain peaks. Wadi Rum in Jordan and the Jeti Orguz Valley in Kyrgyzstan. Also, Cape Levesque is stunning. Blue water, white sand and red rock. Thailand has always been my one, and I'm going to Iceland in a couple months, and I think it will beat Thailand. Badlands, South Dakota, Bryce Canyon, Utah, Crater Lake, Oregon, Big Sur, California, Estes Park, Colorado, Seychelles Islands and eastern Austria Alps border with Switzerland and Liechtenstein in spring. I know this won't get a lot of upvotes, but my answer is South Texas brush country about 7:30 a.m. Galapagos Islands. Such a beautiful islands and beaches surrounded by wild animals and nature. Hiking in the Rockies, also the Cave of the Wine and Helen Hunt Falls and Seven Falls. I live near both of them. At Big Sur and Lake Tahoe are pretty hard to beat. Trunk Bay Beach in the USVI. Easily one of the top 5 beaches in the world. Some random ass dry riverbed in Sabi Sands, South Africa at sunset. The Sapphire Pool in Yellowstone and Moquay Falls in Big Sur. The Himalayan mountain range with Everest in the background. A steaming, snow-covered volcanic crater a few miles wide. Anywhere in Montana, except for Great Falls or Butte. Cruising into Sydney Harbour at sunrise. Breathtaking. Seeing for miles and miles on top of Mount Whitney. Driving through the Swiss Alps was pretty amazing.